More than 2 million people in the U.S. are diagnosed with skin cancer each year. And the Skin Cancer Foundation says that 1 in 5 Americans will get it in their lifetime. The Florida Department of Health in Polk County has some tips you're going to want to hear about summer sun safety and skin cancer prevention. All the details are coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Lauren Lingell, and joining me in studio we have Beverly Dodson, who is a registered nurse with the Florida Department of Health. Welcome, Beverly.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about something that we really can't get around, the almighty sun. So what are some things that, what's the first thing we need to know?
Well, skin cancer is one of the most common diagnoses of cancer in the United States. More people are actually diagnosed with skin cancer than all the other cancers combined. Skin cancer is basically abnormal growth of skin cells, rapid growth of skin cells, and how this happens is from exposure to ultraviolet rays, and that can come from the sun, like you said, but also artificially through tanning beds.
Okay.
So the ultraviolet rays actually hit the skin cells, right? It triggers mutations in the way the skin multiplies, the cells multiply, and then you could get possible malignant tumors from this growth.
So when that happens and those skin cells are rapidly producing and growing at an abnormal rate, what are we going to see? Will we be able to see what's going on?
Well, some of the signs that you can, there are a couple different types of carcinoma. You have basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and then you have melanoma. And most people know the melanoma as being the one that's most dangerous and causes the most deaths. When you're looking at your skin, you want to examine your skin at least once a month from head to toe. In addition, you want to have your provider, when you do your annual checkup, to look at your skin.
Your
also.
primary care provider?
Yes, like your primary care provider.
Okay.
But when you go for your annual checkup. But some of the signs that you can look at, the CDC calls ABCs of melanoma. A is asymmetrical. So the size of the spot or the mole is irregular, okay? B is border. The edges of the mole or the spot is jagged. C is color. Maybe that it's an uneven color to the spot or the mole. D is diameter. So they recommend maybe if the spot or the mole is bigger than the size of a pea, that you might want to talk to your doctor about it or show your doctor. And then E is evolving. So you see a change in the appearance of this spot or this mole over like a month or weeks or months. So
if someone has a spot or a growth that really doesn't meet any of the other criteria and it hasn't really changed in a number of years, then that's not what we're talking about.
No, that's not what we're talking about.
We're talking about more of those things that pop up and you notice it, and then you notice it again, and it's a little different.
Right. I actually saw on the Skin Cancer Foundation website, they talked about how melanoma actually occurs most people think it's from an existing mole, but they said only about 20 to 30% of those become melanoma. So 70 to 80% are actually from skin that's apparently normal looking. So it's important that you take a look.
So melanoma obviously is the most aggressive or the most progressive in terms of how it can affect your health.
Yes.
The basal cell carcinoma and squamous cell, are those, obviously they're not as life-threatening, but what is the danger?
Well, the skin is made up of several layers, and that's where basically they're just saying that those layers are where that rapid cell, growth is happening. The basal cell and the squamous cell carcinomas, they can be dangerous if left untreated. So it's, most people just say, oh, melanoma, that's the one that kills people. But if you don't, get checked, all carcinomas can, potentially be bad. So that's, based, I don't know if that answers your question.
No,
but
it does. So the basic message here is that if you see something that's abnormal, regardless of what degree of skin cancer or growth it is,
right,
you need to get it checked out.
Right, if it meets those ABCDEs of symptoms of melanoma, yes.
So what makes a person more at risk for skin cancer than another?
Well, people who are naturally fair, who have skin that burns easily or freckles easily, or if they're out in the sun and it's painful to be out in the sun for a short amount of time, if they have light hair like blonde or red, or they have light eyes like blue or green, if they are exposed to the sun with whatever they're doing, work or play for extended periods of time, if they use indoor tanning beds, they're more at risk. If they have a history personally or family history of skin cancer, then those people are more at
Is
risk.
it just skin cancer or any type of cancer? Or is there any crossover there?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I guess if you have a family history of any kind of cancer, then you're more at risk. But particularly for skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that we can do if we're going to be outside for a job, or if we're particularly fair-skinned or whatnot? What are some things that we can do to really help prevent this exposure?
So we know that exposure from ultraviolet rays is the cause of a lot of these skin cancers. So you want to minimize your exposure to that by doing, trying to stay in the shade, trying to not be out at the peak hours of the day when the sun is at its strongest.
Which are?
Which are like 10 to 4. You want to, be under a shelter, under a tree, under an umbrella if you can. You want to wear clothing that is long sleeve and long pants. My husband's real fair, so he likes to wear those fishing shirts that have the UV protection in the fabric.
Right.
You want to wear a wide brim hat, cover your face, the backs of your neck, your ears, sunglasses to protect your eyes. You want to use an SPF 15 at least for sunscreen. What's important about the sunscreen, which a lot of people, they think that they can just apply it and be done. But actually, the CDC recommends you put it on every couple of hours.
I think I've been doing it wrong.
And if you are sweating or if you're swimming, you want to reapply it. It's best to just look on the bottle and see what the manufacturer recommends. But they say at least every couple of hours you should put it back on. And they say a lot of people don't put enough, so you're not necessarily getting the protection that you need because they don't apply as much as they're supposed to. So
those are good. Those are good things to do.
Also, you want to avoid tanning beds because that's an artificial exposure to UV rays. There's actually a study that the Journal of American Medicine, they published in like 2014. They said that they found that more people developed skin cancer who did indoor tanning than those that developed lung cancer from smoking.
Well,
Yeah.
that
so,
is a little bit of a staggering
Yeah.
study. Interesting.
Yes, that was from the Dermatology American Medical Journal.
So these folks that are going to their annual checkup and things like that, at what point do you think you need someone who's more specialized with the skin, say like a dermatologist or?
I think that would be up to your primary provider, your whoever you're seeing would know when whatever was going on with your skin would probably need to see a specialized physician for that.
We live in the Sunshine State, so it's very difficult to escape the sun, and a lot of people have this preconceived notion that tan skin is healthy skin. So what would you have to say about that?
Actually, tan skin is not healthy skin. When the ultraviolet rays hit the inner parts of the skin cells, it causes melanin, which is the pigment, to kind of go to the outer edges of the skin, and that's what we see as a tan. So actually, a tan is injured skin cells.
Oh.
And
it sounds really bad when you say it like that.
It's actually not a good thing. It's actually a sign that you have UV damage to the inner part of your skin cells. So,
well, we're almost out of time, but Beverly, thank you so much for being here and sharing some things with us. Do you have any wise words to leave with us?
Just a reminder that the UV rays are what exposure to the UV rays are what most cancers are the cause from. So you want to make sure you wear protective clothing, stay in the shade, stay out of the sun at the peak times, wear a hat, wear sunglasses, use sunscreen, which is at least SPF 15 or greater. Make sure you reapply it as recommended at least every couple of hours, and avoid using tanning beds.
And using that lotion is not just for when you're out in the sun to enjoy yourself. It's also for when you're working.
Yes.
And when you're not thinking about it because you're still exposed to that light. Beverly, thanks for being here and for sharing that wisdom with us. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
As we make our way into summer, it's a good time of year to remember the importance of protecting our skin from the harsh rays of the hot Florida sun. Being outside this time of year can be enjoyable, but it can also be dangerous if you're not prepared or protected. Skin cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in the United States, and most cases are preventable. The key to skin cancer prevention is shielding your skin from the damaging ultraviolet rays of the sun. Use a sunscreen that offers UVA and UVB protection and an SPF of 15 or higher, especially during childhood. For more information about summer sun safety, skin cancer prevention, give them a call at 863-519-7900 or look them up on the web at polk.floridahealth.gov.